Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Mayishim, Barakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Mayishim, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Revelation chapter 2 verse 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And in this video, I'll be profiling a few clips to show that that devil or deceiver, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, more specifically the elites of the Edomites, such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the Merovingians, the DuPonts, you name it, have the plans and infrastructure in place to start sending you dissidents to his coming New World Order to those prisons, these FEMA camps, detention centers, concentration camps, etc., etc. And his main targeted group for these prisons is going to be you Israelites, or so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. As it says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, this devil's going to come down in great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. These elites understand the scriptures and can clearly see that these end times prophecies are coming to their fulfillment, and that the nation of Israel is beginning to wake up and come back to their power, Yahweh Ba'ishim Yahushai, and that the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, are out there on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, condemning Esau Edom and his kingdom. And these elites understand that when the prophets are out there preaching this word, that whatever kingdom's ruling at the time is going to come to an end. And they clearly don't want that, because they understand that they're Edomites and know the fate of the Edomites after they're taken out of power. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before their permanent calling from this planet. So Esau's about to pull out all the stops to get rid of as many Israelites as he can, especially the elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the righteous 1/3, to try to avert prophecy from coming to its fulfillment and to establish his new world order. But at the end of the day, it's all futile, because everything's been set in stone, and you Edomites are going to lose. And if you have that spiritual eye salve, you can clearly see that all these different trigger points to lead to people getting sent to these prison camps are happening. There's these coming food shortages, people facing eviction and being thrown out of their houses. And the main group that's in that eviction is the so-called black woman who relies on the government. And then there's people losing their jobs in mass number. So as this mass civil unrest builds up and people start taking to the streets because they've got nothing to lose, that can justify that devil coming down in great wrath and rounding people up and throwing them into these camps. And then also you had President Trump say that the military is going to be used to powerfully distribute a coronavirus vaccine when it comes about. And also President Trump activated Operation Warp Speed. And then during the first coronavirus lockdown, there were National Guard troops and military hardware such as tanks, MREPs, and Humvees getting moved all throughout the country. So something big is in the offing. But to you sincere Akim out there, don't be afraid when all these things come to pass. As it says back in Revelation chapter 2 verse 10, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. As we always tell you, Akim, some of you will be martyrs and put to death in this truth for not taking the mark of the beast, which is the RFID/NFC microchip implant, and as a testimony to Yahweh Ba'ishim Yahushai. But if that's your lot, then so be it, because you're going to be an automatic elect. You're going to be on the chariot with Yahushai, with that new spiritual body, waiting to come and save the rest of the elect, and you're going to get your hands on those people that got their hands on you on this side. But without any further ado, let's start getting into these clips. First video I'm going to go to is on StopTheCrime.net News YouTube channel, and it's titled Mirror Leaked Military Internment Camps in U.S. to be used by the United Nations. The devil shall cast some of you into prison.
In this video, we're going to examine the leaked U.S. military document FM 3-39.40, otherwise known as the Field Manual for Internment and Resettlement Operations for U.S. Citizens. The official U.S. military documents we are about to see were highly classified until 2013 when they were leaked to the public. In fact, if you look at the bottom of the cover page, you'll see just how secret this document was intended to be. Destruction notice. Destroy by any method that will prevent disclosure of content or reconstruction of the document. By this statement alone, it's obvious that we were never supposed to see what's inside. And that being said, let's take a look inside and see what we can find. Now, this document is 326 pages long, and we definitely don't have time to look at every single page. So I'll just go over some of the most relevant content. Feel free to read this document for yourself. There's a link to the full document in the description below. Alright, so keep in mind that this document was not just written for overseas operations. It clearly outlines internment operations on U.S. soil and with U.S. citizens. On page 38, quote, support to civil support operations. Civil support is the DoD support to U.S. civil authorities for domestic emergencies and for designated law enforcement and other activities. Civil support includes operations that address the consequences of natural or man-made disasters, accidents, terrorist attacks, and incidents in the U.S. and its territories. The internment relocation tasks performed in support of civil support operations are similar to those during combat operations, but the techniques and procedures are modified based on the special OE associated with operating within U.S. territory and according to the categories of individuals, primarily DCs. In this document, DC stands for Dislocated Civilian.
And what is a dislocated civilian? Somebody that's been dislocated from their place of residence or wherever they're at. And that plays into 2nd Esdras chapter 16. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the main targeted group for these Edomites are going to be you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true children of Israel, those that fear the Lord, especially the elect, the 144,000 and the rest of the righteous 1/3. They shall be like madmen, sparing none. And those madmen are not only going to include U.S. military personnel, but foreign troops, NATO troops, Russian and Chinese troops, as well as paid mercenaries who are going to be patrolling the streets, sparing none, putting you people down dead like dogs in the streets. If you didn't know, back during Hurricane Katrina, Blackwater, which was a mercenary group, was patrolling the streets, killing so-called Negroes, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses, make them dislocated citizens. A lot of you Israelites are going to get cast out of your houses and brought to those prison camps where you're going to get tortured and put to death.
To be housed in internment relocation facilities. During long-term internment relocation operations, state and federal agencies will operate within and around internment relocation facilities within the scope of their capabilities and identified role. Military police commanders must closely coordinate and synchronize their efforts with them, especially in cases where civil authority and capabilities have broken down or been destroyed. Not only that, on page 146, it details the identification procedures of new prisoners, and that includes taking their social security numbers. Quote, Identification 716. Individual identification photographs are taken of all prisoners. The prisoner's last name, first name, and middle initial are placed on the first line of a name board, and the prisoner's social security number is placed on the second line. A prisoner registration number may be added on the third line. 2 front and 2 profile pictures are taken of the prisoner. Fingerprints are obtained according to AR 190-47. Now that we've established that these operations...
And what would be an easier way to identify a dislocated citizen that's been brought to a camp? Give them a microchip implant.
Were not only designed for overseas, but also designed for U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. Would it surprise you to see that the United Nations is also involved in this? Page 23. Agencies concerned...
Again, They shall be like madmen, sparing none. You're going to have NATO and foreign troops patrolling the streets of America, rounding people up, throwing them in these camps, and putting them to death.
With internment and resettlement. External government involvement in IR missions, and IR means internment and resettlement, is a fact of life for military police organizations.
And hey, you'll be lucky if you get a quick and painless death, as it says back in 2 Esdras 16, for they shall waste and take away their goods, and they shall spoil and destroy those that fear the Lord. A lot of you are going to have to see your loved ones, your wives, your sons, your daughters, you name it, get tortured, raped, and killed right before your eyes before they get to you. Hey, it's about to get nasty and gruesome on the streets of the United States of America.
Government and government-sponsored entities that may be involved in IR missions include international agencies, the United Nations, International Committee of the Red Cross, International Organization of Migration, U.S. agencies, local U.S. Embassy, Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, otherwise known as FEMA. It goes into more detail about the United Nations in Chapter 1-47. The UN is involved in the entire spectrum of humanitarian assistance operations, from suffering prevention to relief operations. Typically, UN relief agencies establish independent networks to execute their humanitarian relief operations. The UN system delegates as much as possible to the agency's elements located in the field. Supervisory and support networks are traced from those field officers back to UN headquarters. Military planners must familiarize themselves with UN objectives so that these UN objectives are considered in planning and executing military operations. So basically, the UN is there every step of the way, and these camps must be formulated around UN policies, according to this document. Now, let's go to...
That's it with this video. Now I'm going to go to my next one on the Common Sense Show, titled, What Will You Do When the Contact Tracers Show Up at Your Door? And if you remember, when they started talking about that whole contact tracing plan, when the contact tracers would come to your door and see that an infected person in your house couldn't be properly isolated, they had the right to take you from your house to a different location for quarantine. And the devil shall cast some of you into prison.
Bad boys, what you gonna do when they come for you? Oh, I can't say that anymore, can I? We did away with that show because we're defunding the police, because all police are racist. Okay, another topic, another time. But they are gonna come for you. They're coming for you in New Zealand, and there's a beta test going on there, and I ran a piece yesterday and again today. And businesses in New Zealand, they have this week to comply to get QR codes up, and when you go in, it's scan your phone and you go in. Now here's the problem. If someone comes in, they scan their phone and they're in there in the same approximate time as you, because I don't think they're making you scan when you leave. They just want to know you're there. So you might go in 3 hours before someone is COVID positive, you've already left, but they can come to your house. They can enter without a warrant. They can take you to isolation if they suspect you have COVID. It's coming here, folks. The tracers they put into your phone take the place of the QR codes. We're more high-tech than New Zealand. No offense to my New Zealand friends. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a big problem. Big problem. Because now your phones will put you in proximity with each other, and they can come... We're going to talk about this in a little more detail, about what you're going to do, what your options are, here on the Common Sense Show. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host. We're the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. We're brought to you by Virtual Shield. You have the right to remain private. The bad guys are indeed after you, and just because you're paranoid does not mean that they're not out to get you. And they are. They want your data. They want your money. They want to block your communications to places they don't want you to go. They interfere with what social media sites you go to. I could go on and on and on and on. I have shows disappear. I have communications that are disrupted. It's a major problem. Major problem. Major problem. You can bet you're going to get the knock on the door. How are you going to handle that? We're going to talk about that here. We're going to talk about it forcefully, and your options are really limited. You can comply and be taken away to God knows what. Oh, they've already done this in Arkansas, and we don't have any details. They're storing food in Washington State. What are they storing it for? This is all adding up to one thing. They're coming and using your phone to get you. Now,
It's all adding up to that devil coming down in great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
you do have options. Let me share with you what you can do. One is you can do research here and find out how they're tracing you and remove those options from your phone. Two, you can do what my friend Virginia Farver does and don't have a phone. Three, you can fight them at your door, but ultimately you will be overwhelmed. Four, you can relocate, but you can't take your phone with you. What are you going to do? Your options are very, very limited, and I'm warning you. People right now aren't even going to take this as a threat. They probably won't even take this video seriously. But it's happening now in New Zealand. Happening now. Right now. In fact, you know what the New Zealand Prime Minister said? Prime Minister Ardern? She said, yeah, we're going to take them to a camp, and if they don't submit to what we want to do to them medically, we'll just keep them another 14 days. And we'll ask them again at the end of 14 days. They don't submit, we'll keep them another 14 days. 14 days. And we'll ask them again at what we want to do to them medically. He said, yeah, we're going to take them to a camp, and if they don't submit to we're going to take them to a camp, and if they don't submit to what we want to do to them medically, we'll just keep them another 14 days. And then we'll ask them again at the end of 14 days. They don't submit, we'll keep them another 14 days. They'll submit. That's about how arrogant she was when she
talks of people getting took into camps in New Zealand. And as Dave Hodges just said, what's going on in New Zealand is just a beta test to get all the kinks out of the system before they fully rule it out over here in the good old US of A.
She expressed it. I'm the dictator. I have the power. You don't. This woman is nuts. She is a dictator deluxe. But so are our Democrats.
And not just the Democrats, but the Republicans. They're two sides on the same scumbag coin, following after the dictates of the elites.
We need to be discussing this. We need to look for options. I don't understand everything there is about it, but when I see this going on in New Zealand, I know it's only a matter of time until it goes on here. It's being beta tested, and they're going to use this to extract political enemies. And I'll refer to something else I've talked about. ESF number 8, I wrote about it in September of 2014. Medical martial law camps run by FEMA, the HHS. No medical treatment. We don't know what they're going to do to these people in New Zealand. We don't have any idea where they're even going with these people. We're going to be asking the same questions here. I think we need to watch New Zealand so we can be watching our leaders and say, hey, we're not going along with you on this. Because I think...
So with that, now I've got one more clip I want to go to on the Locksmith Prophets of Doom's YouTube channel titled California, the prison/cages are prepared for Jake, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the true children of Israel, the main target of the elites of the Edomites.
Look down here in the bottom. It does.
Yes, sir, it does.
They have fucking toilets or toilets in them. Holy shit, dude. Those are for people.
Yeah, those are for people.
They got toilets.
How many are there, bro?
I don't know.
Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. These Edomites have all the plans and infrastructure in place. They're just waiting for the right catalyst to set it all off. And let's go back to 2 Esdras chapter 16 and close it out. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites, they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Those NATO troops, United Nations troops, which as we just saw from that leaked document from the U.S. government on military internment camps, it's a joint effort with the United Nations, mercenary troops, etc., etc., but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses, make them dislocated citizens, and send them to these prisons, these FEMA camps, detention centers, concentration camps, etc., etc. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire, the elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the righteous 1/3. Because while the elect are going to go through tribulation during Jacob's trouble, we're going to get it nowhere near as bad as you 2/3. Jacob's trouble is really your punishment, and it's going to be clearly seen who are the elect of Yahweh Ba'ishim Yahushai. While you people are getting the business, you're going to see that the elect have a different spirit on them, and they're going to be maneuvering through all these different situations. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble, Jacob's trouble, are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. And ye should be comforted with those words, because whatever your situation is, the Most High is going to be with you to the bitter end. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if it's your lot to be a martyr and get put to death for the testimony of Yahweh Ba'ishim Yahushai, then so be it. The Most High is not going to give you a humiliating death like these 2/3. And once it happens, you're going to be an automatic elect on the chariot with Yahushai, again with that new spiritual body, waiting to come and save the rest of the elect. So as long as you endure until the end like a good soldier of Yahushai HaMashiach, then you're in a win-win situation. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.